a lot changing in the global air cargo market right now. But one thing that is not changing is the status of Middle East as the hub for global air cargo market. The region, the Middle East market, that connects continents, it connects businesses, it connects trade. Etihad Cargo, the fleet division of Etihad Airways, plays a very crucial role in consolidating this role of Middle East as a hub for air cargo. Hi all, thank you so much for joining. This is Libin, Chacko, Kurian from the Start Times. We are here in Munich, Germany for Air Cargo Europe and the Transport Logistic Exhibition. Right now I'm joined by the Chief Cargo Officer of Etihad. Stan, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for being here.
Just now in Air Cargo Europe, you launched an interesting solution, a real-time shipment tracking solution.
Tracking, yes, it's here. Allow me to take it for you. This is, Smart Track. It's a definitely new and innovative solution which allow, the forwarder and the shipper to keep control of their logistics through the whole chain. So from the warehouse of the shippers to the warehouse of the consignee, through all the logistics and even through during the flight, because during the flight, this device is pushing you to a website, allowing you to know where is the flight in the air. You will have the capacity to know the location, of course, but also the temperature, the humidity, but also, the light, the shock, and the tilt. So everything will be reported every 30 minutes. In case of there is a condition which is changing, the device will report automatically, immediately, in terms of temperature. For instance, temperature excursion, after 15 minutes since the last report, it will say high temperature excursion, mine. So this will allow us to be very transparent, toward the whole trade about our quality and our solution through the whole logistic chain. And I think it's very innovative, yes.
Can you also take us through the process through which you created the solution in terms of why, for example, what was the demand that was coming from your customers?
Air freight is globally, an expensive product. So, the customer want to have a control and want to make sure that, through the whole processes, the temperature, but not only temperature, shock, everything is under control and there is no loose end in their pieces. I was a freight forwarder, working for a freight forwarder for a few years in charge of global air freight. And basically, I joined 14 months ago, Etihad. And since I joined, I've requested, to my team to find, a solution to have this kind of tracking device. What is important is to have, also not so much reverse logistic, because the reverse logistic, is generating a lot of issue in terms of capacities. There is lithium battery, etc., and a lot of people, don't want to carry that alone. The big one. The small one, it's one time. So, you place it, it lasts for 30 days. The battery will leave 30 days, will push for 30 days, every 30 minutes, at least minima. And after 30 days, you just, scan that, and you can, reverse that to a place in Malaysia where it has been produced, and they will recycle it. If the product inside is good, they just change the battery, and they send it back, for the next one.
You joined Etihad Cargo 14 months back, but yes, you were also promoted as the Chief Cargo Officer a month back.
Yes.
What are your priorities right now?
The priority is in making sure also, right now we are expanding Etihad Airways, for instance. We are, in the next 10 years, we'll double, our fleets. Etihad Cargo, we have, 10 A350 freighter on order. This will start to be delivered in 28. It means that from now we have 5 777, will turn to be 13 planes, because 2 will be gave back to their lessor probably in 28 or 29. So it means that 13 aircraft, you need to ramp up the whole organization and to make sure to prepare your network in terms of operation, but also in terms of sales and in terms of logic of communication and connection to make something very efficient. And yes, 2 years is not so much.
By adding these wide-body freighters, where is that particular demand that you are seeing?
The demand, is following the dynamic market since the beginning of the year. The demand is shifting a bit. You see that India is pushing, since quite last year and continue to push. You see Vietnam also is a high demand. And you see more and more, Thailand has rebounded quite also nicely last year and continue, to provide some requests. You see, Cambodia also, pushing. So Asia overall, and China remains strong. Huh? I mean, Hong Kong and China, I mean, remain strong. When you see the number of flights out of Hong Kong and the number of flights out of China, I mean, there is no doubt on that. Yes, there is some disruption in the logistic chain following, I mean, some certain announcements. Right now, I mean, it's mostly globally in line. And I mean, when we compare this year, 25 up to end of May, compared to last year, we are still above in terms of tonnage and we are still above in terms of revenue. So right now, it's still a good year.
Okay. One of the interesting things that I heard about Etihad very recently is about your changes in the Europe. We are here in Munich. So tell us about this market. You made some changes here in the market in terms of dividing into 5 different segments?
Yes, because I mean we have expanded, I mean, our freighter network in Europe this year. So we had 2 more stations. One was 3 more stations. One was Paris. We opened in January. The other was Liège. We opened, I mean, 2 months ago, and now we opened Stansted. So I mean, close to London, and that, I mean, need a specific focus to make sure that, I mean, we are, I mean, plus a lot of passenger aircraft. We are doubling all our station passenger aircraft out of Europe to Abu Dhabi. So it's need a lot of focus to make sure that, I mean, we continue to look properly on how we fill up the belly and how we fill up the freighter. Just to give you in terms of opening, today we were just opening Warsaw as the first flight, and tomorrow we open Prague. In 1 month from now, we will open, I mean, Atlanta, where I will be, and September we're opening Taipei. And finally, I mean, in November, we're opening Hong Kong, and finally, we're opening Hanoi. So this is all passenger. It's moving very fast. We are integrating 20 aircraft in the fleet this year. I mean, it's a big change, and we have, I mean, as much of aircraft coming in the years for the next 10 years. So yes, I mean, we need to have a proper organization, and as Etihad Cargo, we are supporting the growth of the airline, and all this capacity need to be, I mean, fulfilled and utilized.
Thank you for taking me through the plans. One thing that I like about Etihad is about the focus on some of the specialized cargo, especially pharma. In April in Abu Dhabi, when GSK opened their vaccine distribution center in Abu Dhabi, and I know that the Department of Health of Abu Dhabi is involved in that particular.
With us.
And Etihad is very important stakeholder in that particular
Totally.
thing. Give me an idea about how Abu Dhabi as a hub is evolving, and particularly now in terms of pharmaceuticals.
So I mean, it's the will of the Abu Dhabi, I mean, government to generate, I mean, a pharma corridor through Abu Dhabi. Why it's a corridor is basically we want to make sure that the pharma company are coming to Abu Dhabi and storing, I mean, their goods with negative temperature to be ready for anything happening in the wide region. When I say wide region, it's go up to, I mean, Africa, up to after India, and I mean, even, I mean, Thailand, and a bit further. With this, I mean, center in Abu Dhabi, it allows us to distribute and, I mean, to send very quickly, I mean, efficient dose of vaccine or medicament or pharma where it's needed in a very short time. And this is why, I mean, we signed with Department of Health and GSK a tripartite agreement, the 3 of us, because, I mean, we are in charge of the transportation from and to Abu Dhabi.
One more interesting thing that I heard about Etihad recently is about a wet leasing 747 freighter.
Yes.
Give us an idea about why that was, and how long you are planning to operate that. I believe it is for China, right?
Yes, I mean, this freighter will start this week, so it's a very good question, out of Shenzhen to operate to Europe, 3 rotations per week. Why? Is because we have the demand. We have the demand from our customer, trusting our service and trusting our capacity, I mean, to provide them some solution for their shipper. And it's not necessarily, I mean, like it was in the past, I mean, the biggest forwarder which are willing necessarily this capacity. It's also, I mean, the medium. And you see, I mean, it's a very interesting trade we are having now with a shift in the power. The bigger are still the bigger, but they probably have difficulty to grow this year, where you see the middle size of freight forwarder will take more market share this year on the market.
As a journalist, what I'm waiting for next from Etihad is the A350 freighter, for example.
Yes.
Give us an Tell me about, what do you expect from that freighter, and how is that evolving?
We are seated, I mean, with Airbus, I mean, just before you came. So, I mean, it's a very interesting discussion. This freighter should be delivered for us in 2028. As you know, we don't control, I mean, exactly, I mean, the production, but I mean, it's the right direction. What I've seen and what I've heard, I mean, is giving me some confidence that we'll get it in 28. What we expect, I mean, this freighter is definitely lighter than the 777. So we'll have a saving in terms of consumption and better efficiency. He can carry more because he go more than 110 tons. So this also, I mean, an importance, I mean, when you look at the cargo, because also the cargo has changed a bit in the last 5 years, from heavy to very light with the e-commerce not organized, and now organized because, I mean, now they packed it very well. No, I mean, there is a need of space, but also a need of weight. And that's why this 120 tons will allow us. It will give us also, I mean, a communality in our fleet, because we operate the 350 passenger plus the 350 freighter. It will allow us, I mean, on the pilot to have, I mean, the same pool of pilot. And this also, I mean, it's definitely an efficient solution to save on the cost and avoid also on the part to have too many model and too many dispersion.
One last question. When I asked about what are your priorities, you mentioned how Etihad Cargo is going to double and figures coming in. But as the chief cargo officer of Etihad Cargo, what are your immediate priorities? For example, the tracking solution is something that you do.
To make sure to have the customer centricity. This is my immediate, that's why we are here, that's why we got this booth, that's why we're open to meet customers, that's why we have 3 meetings rooms, to make sure that we meet as much as possible the customer, to hear from them, to provide them the solution. This is a solution without specifically naming it, they were expecting, and I mean, they are all very happy. Each time I'm meeting one, I mean, I'm presenting the product, they're all saying, okay, when can we start? So, I mean, this will be available from the 1st of September and in different stations, and it will go out on all the network. But the customer centricity, to provide a service, to provide a solution. That's why we are also ramping up now, I mean, the digital vision digital 2030. This year, we are changing a revenue management system or mail system. We are launching a RFI, I mean, for our CMS system for next year. So, I mean, our core business. The moment we have changed that, I want to have, I mean, some different layer where we can escalate and bring, I mean, the information to the customer, and to have a customer centricity seated in the middle where all the system is able to provide him what he needs. But even with AI, the capacity to know what you are doing very often, so to facilitate that for you, and on the top of that, to generate positive, saying, okay, I believe this could be helpful for you. And that is what we want to build for 2030. So digital also, but still customer centric.
Stan, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. And a good wish fair.